What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Man, it's been no basketball for me for a little bit. I think maybe since Thursday. I just decided to take a break on that Friday and Sunday, and just wait for some meaningful basketball again. So I did. I'll say I did slump out a little bit toward the end of the season, but I finished the regular season up 32.5 units, somewhere around there. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do in the playoffs now. Vino, it's great to be back with you. How you doing today? How's everything? Did you still play NBA Friday and Sunday? What's going on with you?
I am good, buddy. We're back into the grind here, so to speak, but at least it's a meaningful grind now. No real guessing on who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's motivated, who's not motivated. So I did choose to play over the course of the weekend, and it wound up being a pretty good idea for myself because we had a good Saturday and Sunday. Just with some totals, Skee, where it just seemed like opposition didn't care. I think we closed it out Sunday night with one play. There's like a 15 game board, only had one play, but it was the Sixers team total over against the Bucks, who had just won their final home game, and Rivers got fired, and there's just no reason for Milwaukee to stand up and play. So took the Sixers. They came through, but really ready for this now because this is the important time of year. And I will just say that since the 1st of January, NBA has been good to me. So it's been a pretty good run for a while now of making profits. So we'll see if we can extend that into the playoffs here.
Absolutely. Let's get it. We have two games here to talk about. I see the good people in the chat ready to get it going. So we'll start at the top with Miami and Charlotte. This one opened up 5.5. I see it mostly sixes everywhere. I mean, I do see a 5.5 and a 6.5. So make sure you line shop like always. Total opened up 227. And all the way as high as I see it as high as 230.5 out there. So this is a pretty solid move to the over. Injury report: Larson is questionable. Jovic is out. Drew Smith is out for Miami. Nobody's on the injury report for Charlotte. Um, I'm pretty sure, and I'm just gonna double check here. Says we have I think this is the fourth game in 6 nights for the Heat. Just looking at their schedule a little bit here. Yeah, they've been playing a lot. The Hornets a little bit more rested. I mean, just looking at the recent games, played on the 7th, had 2 days off, played on the 10th. They did play on the 12th, but I mean, the Heat 4 games in 6 nights. I don't know. That does stand out to me. Something else that stands out to me, Vino. Um, and I'll put this comment back on the screen. They say, "Wonder how we feel about total tonight." Everybody says the game slows down in the playoffs. This total is going up. You know, I listen to the guys talk, and I hear everybody on the Heat side saying the same thing. And they're all saying like, we gotta defend the three, we get better, we got to get out, and et cetera, et cetera. We got to take away, their strength is offensive rebounding. We got to close out possessions, et cetera, et cetera. And that they need to, like, they're insinuating that they need a really good defensive start to the game. Um, and this total just continues to go up. So I don't know. I just kept thinking about it. I wanted to trust what they said, but in the last few games of the season, there was a time where they were doing that same kind of talk and when got blasted off the court. So, what do you think here, Vino? Can we trust what they're saying, or you think it'll be just like the matchups we've seen? Very high scoring matchups between these two.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said what you said at the end because I'm in agreement that I'm not believing anything that has Miami and defense in the same sentence because, like you said, they've let us know. Eric Spoelstra's let us know. The players have let us know, and it just never came out in 82 games ever. Maybe there was like a 3 game span, Skee. I think maybe you had caught something. I'm trying to remember back, but I think there was a
Yeah,
point
it
where,
was
yeah,
a
2 or
small
3
one.
games, and it went away as fast as it came, right? So, um, I can't trust it here. It's a difficult game for me. There's so many ways to look at it. I mean, and there's extra ways to look at it because Charlotte's a playoff team for the first time in a long time. So there's extra emotions and ways to handicap that type of team in this game. I think first things first, Miami had won 3 straight against this team until the fourth game where Charlotte blew them out. But I'll be quick to note that it was the most recent game. It was on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. And in that game for Miami, no Bam, no Andrew Wiggins. So 2/5 of your starting lineup weren't involved in that game. Miami's a pretty deep team when everybody's involved. And even Jovic didn't play in that game, and he'll play here tonight. So you got everybody in for Miami. Pele Larson has been cleared. But Charlotte was able to beat them when they didn't have Bam and Wiggins. And if I'm going to use the word defense at all, I guess those are the 2 guys for Miami you could use it with. Wiggins, known reputation as a good defender. Bam, undersized, but pretty good defender as well and rebounder. Charlotte took advantage. Still, that game got to 242. Every single game has gone over this number: 261, 234, 248, 242. And I think it's because they're kind of like, they're almost carbon copies of each other. I mean, this game isn't going to be won by feeding the post, by down low play. This game's going to be won in the open floor. And it seems really simple to say it's Skee, but it's so true, I think, in this instance. Whoever makes the shots. If Miami drains threes, they're as dangerous as anybody. If Charlotte drains threes and they're both going to shoot them, we're going to get, I don't know, we'll probably get 93s combined, close to 45 aside, the way these 2 teams shoot them. I kind of feel 2 ways about the side. I feel like 6.5 is a little bit too much for me to lay with Charlotte, despite the situation, despite the way they closed the season. However, before I run to the window with Miami +6, I think to myself, man, all the energy is with Charlotte. Like, they're the team that's going to come out like a college team tonight. The crowd's going to be with them. So then I go to like first half stuff, and then I think, well, first half could go one of 2 ways. The lights could be a little too bright to start with, and maybe then Charlotte gains their footing, or Charlotte could get out of the gates really quick. So there's conflicting arguments everywhere in this case. I think, to me, the most reasonable side that I landed on was potentially Miami's team total. It used to be over 111.5 this morning. It's now 112.5. But even without Bam, even without Wiggins, even without Jovic in that game, they got to 106 against Charlotte. Every other game they cleared 112 rather easily. So I think for me, the closest I've come to playing this game is with the Miami team total, whether win or lose, to get to 113. I guess if you think that way, you could argue me, why don't you just include Charlotte and play full game over? But that would mean to me that Charlotte has to win the game. And I'm just not so sure who wins this one. I think Charlotte's going to win, but I'm not clearly positive. So for me, Skee, the closest I've come here right now is Miami team total over 112.5.
I would just ask and argue a little bit, or ask, you know, are we forgetting that this Hornets team has been really good defensively too? You know, I mean, they're not letting teams get to 112. Outside of who they let the Pistons get it. The Celtics got to 113 barely. You know, I don't know. I don't view. I mean, Charlotte can score. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. This one, their defense is. They can win the game with defense. They can, yes, they can go and run up and down the court, but they've shown they can play defense and win games like that. They just beat the Knicks 110-96. They held the Timberwolves to 108. Does that give you any pause, any concern? Held the Suns to 107. Pacers. I know Nets, nothing to brag about, but lately they're not letting a lot of teams get to 112.
Yeah, so the only thing that scared me off is Skee. Sorry to cut you off there, my bad. The only thing that scared me off is the matchup itself. The Knicks aren't the same matchup. Knicks are slow paced. Timberwolves without Edwards aren't the same matchup without Anthony Edwards. And Charlotte's defensive numbers were really, really good. But when I went back over it, like you just did, so much of it was built on lousy teams. But even that aside, let's shove that aside because they still played good defense. I just think that this matchup, the pace that it's going to be played at, the amount of possessions you're going to get here, would scare me. And especially, let's add this to it because we do this a lot. At least I did it a lot with Trig when we were doing the college hoop show throughout tournament time. These are the types of games that are do or die. And it's not this one. These two teams get a second chance, right? These are the 7-8, so they'll get a second chance. But still, you're in an elimination type process here where you get end of game extension. If this game is within 6, like the odds maker says, we're going to get that foul score stuff. The team chasing, if it's Miami, probably could climb over 112.5 in that setting as well. So I guess those watching us right now can tell from the amount of talking I've done that I've got conflicting arguments everywhere in this game, everywhere. And it's hard to land on something concrete. But if I had to, I think it would be Miami, even in a losing effort in this particular matchup, where LaMelo Ball is going to be going 100 miles an hour, where Miami is going to be running back 100 miles an hour. I just think I'd take the underdog and handicap them to get over their team total because it's the lower of the two.
Lastly, I'll just mention that it's interesting hearing you say about the late game situation. I don't know. I just feel like by the time it gets to the fourth quarter and everything's on the line, if it's a close game, that game is going to slow down. It might not be slow for 3 quarters, but that fourth quarter is going to slow down. I would consider the first half over. I think they can get to 120 in the first half, and then you don't have to worry about that. But you see it other way. You see, maybe some late game fouling. So a lot of different ways to see it. Yeah, Joe, like Joe says, great conversation here. A lot of ways to look at it. So think it's time we can move on to the next game. Next game will be Blazers and Phoenix. Opened up -4. Down as low. I mean, now we'll call it 3. And unjuiced 3. We'll call it 3 everywhere. Total went down from 218.5 as low as 216.5. My bad. Excuse me, you guys. Jeremy Grant, questionable. Grayson Allen also questionable in this one. First thing I want to ask you here, Vino, is which defense do you trust the most? Do you trust both defenses?
I do.
Okay.
I feel like I just stood up at a wedding. I do.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because the Suns pissed me off lately. I just have bad thoughts about them. But they could play solid defense here too. I can understand why this total is going down. I don't think either team wants to play with pace. The Blazers have been playing really good defense, really for second half of the season. And I think that they got some players who can match up pretty well with the Suns on the other side as far as playing defense. I agree. I would agree with the total going down. I think Portland can compete as well. What do you think here, Vino?
I think a lot of what you just said, Skee. The one game out of the two tonight, the one that I probably stand the firmest on. And again, it's playoff time, but this doesn't come out of my mouth that often. But I like under in this game. I think it's the reason why you brought Dylan Brooks here. I think it's the reason why you have Mark Williams in the middle now. Devin Booker's a good wing defender. This team is more predicated on methodical pace and defense than it is up and down and scoring points, all points that you already made. And for Portland, if they do follow the lead of Drew Holiday, who we know is probably one of the best, but certainly we can describe him as an elite defender on ball up at the top. If the rest of the team follows, and Donovan Clingan has been a really good defender and rebounder since his days at UConn. They've got a lot of depth and a lot of pieces where they can defend. The other thing I'll say about these two teams is that they're both, unlike Miami and Charlotte. First of all, we're not going to get that number of possessions. But second of all, I find these two teams to be a little more erratic shooting than the other two teams. Like if Miami has multiple guys, Charlotte has multiple guys. When they put the ball up, I feel like it's going to go in. For Phoenix, Devin Booker puts it up okay, but the rest of these guys, I'm not so sure that the ball is going to go in. They're just more erratic. Denny's been a great scorer for Portland for sure, but do they have a bunch of other really good shooters? I don't know. And you talked about the other games slowing down in the fourth quarter. This game probably would be a little bit slow for three, but if this is close as the 3-point line would indicate, this is really going to slow down. Phoenix is good at having quarters where they score 25 or less, which is kind of what you want here if you're going to bet under. And I think defensively, they can probably keep Portland to one or two of those as well. Again, with Portland, you're talking about a team that's in the playoffs for the first time in a while, right? This is new to them, and they're on the road. So I don't know that I could trust their offense in this case to really light it up. But I think, like you, that they can contend here. But where under is concerned, I just feel like this is the main reason why Dillon Brooks is here and why Mark Williams is their center to stop teams from scoring. So I'm going to look at it that way, Skee. I like that one a little bit. The best number I'm seeing out there is 217.5, which is a nice number. It's not that far off the openers. So I would look under in this game.
All right. I think we agree on that one. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for today. Only two games, quick and easy. And you know what? I'm gonna skip a best bet for today. How about that? Today, um, we're just gonna go ahead and go to the promo. I mean, you can get a best bet for $5. It is $5 Tuesday. So head over to my page, Rob's page. You can get a top play over there for $5. Outside of that, we do have the usuals. You can go buy 3 days, get three free. Comes out to 6 days for just $69. If you like to be involved, you know, longer term, maybe a year. We do still have the all-in ultimate all access pass. Comes out to under $4 per day, and you will get a 25% bonus coupon. This is the new one, so let's put this up there too. It's trying to do the math, but maybe a little more than 3 months, 3.5 months. You're getting with this one. Every play, every sport from now through August 31st, and seems to include the beginning of college football. WNBA starts. Baseball is going. If Rob is doing that, I'm not doing any baseball. I will do some women's tennis. That'll include that, and NBA playoffs as well. So if you're looking for all that stuff, you can get involved like that. And we cannot forget good old 45 and 23. Double the NBA court vision 3 days for $59. You can rock with Veno or myself. Say, let me just see, what they're rocking with for the play in and see if I want to get involved for the playoffs. Or you can just sign up with both of us for the playoffs. Comes out to $249. You get both of us the entire way. And yeah, we'll rock like that. Veno, I feel like that was a lot of promotion. Is there anything else you'd like to add or say before we wrap it up?
Well, I'll say real quick to everybody watching. Obviously, it's hard for us to leave you with a best bet when there's only two games and it's $5 Tuesday. So don't hold it against us for not leaving a best bet for today. I'll also say this: you could tell by today's show, we're 18 minutes and 40 seconds on two games. We were doing 12-game boards in 14 minutes at the end of the season because there's just no way to handicap that garbage. But you could tell by today, we can get a lot more in depth with you guys. We can land with a lot firmer opinions on stuff now than we could earlier in the year. So I think, Skee, that they're taking away that promo, the two of us together for the playoffs after midnight tonight.
Oh,
So my only suggestion to guys, if you're going to follow us for these long 7 weeks of NBA playoffs, get it all right now. You can check with the office, but I think it does go away at midnight tonight. So get everything Skee and I have to offer. $249, probably the best deal out there. Also, if you're looking for multiple sports, I think they put a UFL package up for me because I'm 5-0 last five, so now you can get a season package there. We had the WNBA draft last night, so we're going to be doing the W very soon.
excited for that.
Skee, I'll be talking to you, Skee, a little bit about these rosters and maybe some futures. But yeah, guys, if you're looking to get involved in the playoffs, today's the day to do it. And if you want to get both of our opinions, like I say, we'll be able to dissect these things a lot better for you now than we could, say, the last 3 weeks of the season.
And on that note too, what you said about talking about these rosters, there's a lot of movement in the WNBA this year. They're not going to know how to price everything correctly, and we're going to be able to take advantage to start the year. So I think you'd probably want to be involved from the start of WNBA. All right, Vino, it's been great capping the games with you. Always appreciate you taking the time to break them down with me. Chat, we appreciate you guys as well. Best of luck, everybody, on all your action. We will be back again tomorrow to talk about the next two games, and we will catch you all then.